Hello, everybody. This is Bear Life Designs. We are Anca, the incredible, the amazing, the spectacular, and
Ooh.
I'm Stephen. And this is Rebekah. Rebekah Milne, the absolute joy of so many
Mm,
thousands and thousands and thousands of people.
yeah.
Uh,
Aw.
she's probably touched more than that in the spirit, millions upon millions. And she is just such a ray of light, absolute glory.
Woo.
And she is a drinker of the wine of Jesus. And she loves completely. She loves
Oh.
completely. She does not hold back. So, Rebekah, hello. How are you?
Yeah, really good. So good to see you. Love you so much. Both of you. Only met you in the flesh once, but knew you forever, have known you forever. Yeah.
Man.
It's one
I
of
think we
those
were
things when you connect, you know that we've known each other before the beginning of time because the bond is so strong, instantaneously.
absolutely.
Ooh.
Absolutely. We first, before we met in the flesh, I think you were a part of a mentoring group that we did for a while. And so we had known you through that, vaguely a little bit. But then you and your friend came to Joy Fest 2.5 years ago, or
Yeah,
almost three, maybe.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then we got to actually hug you.
Got to actually be drunk together in
We
the
were
flesh.
we were holding each other up,
Party.
weren't we? We were like every once in
Well, I don't think that worked really. But anyway, it was good, as my son says, good try, wasn't it? Good try,
Yeah,
Mum, wasn't
good try.
it?
Good try. It's so good.
Oh, Rebecca. Oh my goodness. I love you so much.
Oh, I
Uh,
love
you,
you.
you just you're just so sweet,
Mm.
so loving, so accepting, um, and you're just reaching far and far and more. Just so, like Stephen said, so many people, and not just that, is
Hub without borders.
yeah, help without borders.
That's it.
Yeah.
There is no borders. I mean, I tell you, the thing about that I know about Rebecca the most, at least that was very apparent, is that she is wide open.
Mm,
Her heart is wide open and ready to receive anyone and everyone around her and wrap them up in her love and just affection and honor and respect. You don't hold back. And I just thought that's amazing.
Oh,
It says that in the beginning, God spoke and everything came out of him. And then God so loved the world that he gave. And
yeah.
that's the thing I see with you is that you are just this constant
giver.
river of life, giving, giving, giving. You are a source that is one with the Father. You are a source,
Thank
and
you.
Oh,
it's
beautiful.
beautiful. You don't take for yourself
Mm.
because you
Yeah.
have everything.
I think when I meet people, it sounds a bit narcissistic when you hear it like this, but I recognize myself in others, and I love the mirror reflection of who I am when I look at you because I know that we're all one. I
Mm.
know that we're all a part of each other, and so you know, it's just so easy to see Christ in people, and then have that mirror reflection back at who we ourselves look like in the face of those we love. It's an interesting
Wow.
concept,
Yeah,
isn't it?
that is
But
so true.
it's just beautiful when you do meet people for the first time physically, and instantaneously you go, wow,
Ooh.
now I can see myself, because
Ah.
that instantaneous connection, and it brings such an affirmation of who you are as well. And I'm not being narcissistic, even though that sounds like it. It's just that coming to fully understand that, you know, Christ is in all and in us, and the beauty of Christ in you. But, you know, I'm not just saying that is a separationist type of thing, because the essence of who you are is so tasty. You're just delightful, just delicious, you know.
Delicious.
You are incredibly delicious, and such a sweet taste. I just really enjoy you, really enjoy other people too.
Rebekah, we know you heart to heart, but how would you describe yourself if, for people who are watching us, they would like to know you too? So who are you, and how do you connect with people, and what do you do?
Okay. Well, look, my core message, essence, I guess, my internal scroll is all really about union consciousness, and outwalking that, and reflecting that to other people as well. So I've got a long story. I've got a history, a revivalist history. I was an international revivalist and saw many incredible, impacting, you know, miraculous things in my time. I came to this space where I burned out because my platform, my ministry platform, was still in toil. It was still in works-based and separationist mindset. So getting God to do things for me. And, you know, he did in that frame of reference. But during the burnout, I was basically laid up in bed. And that, I call that now being arrested by Jesus. And he knew that my heart was so deeply embedded in longing for his presence, but I understood his presence as being something I needed to activate, you know, to bring down for the people. And you know, it worked. It was incredible, mass wipeouts of the spirit, and like I said, miracles. But all along it was this constant striving to need to get God to be active and to do this stuff. And so during this burnout time, basically, as I said, I was arrested, and I couldn't get up and do the do. I couldn't go out onto the street and pray for the person who was limping past me. I couldn't go out into markets, and all that sort of evangelistic style stuff is what I was, and prophet type of calling that I had. So I wrestled so much with feeling useless. You know, this is where all the internal drivers started to surface. Worthless, useless, you know, letting God down, failing God, walking past all of these people who were sick, and they needed to get saved, and I had to walk past. So I wrestled so much, but it was in that space where basically the shell cracked from around about me, and I began to understand my inner Christ spirit and the union with God, and from that perspective, I shifted ages from the past age into the mystic new age, and began to really understand what this new creation life was all about. And from there, I resigned everything. I had so many titles and hats and qualifications and recognition, but I just resigned everything and just became me. And that's I am right now. I'm just me. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, Rebekah, can I ask? There's for me, there's always a question that I want to ask to people in some ways. When were you, or did you know the moment where you were awoken and knew about the existence of God, of Yahweh, and where you came from, and where you're gonna be, and who you are at present? When did you realize that God existed, and where did He exist for you?
Yeah, well, I kind of see that as an ongoing journey of awakening. So, I feel like we come into this world unconscious. So before we were in skin on earth in our earthly story, then we were fully conscious. We were fully God conscious, and then we came into the earth and we're unconscious. And religion is something that is designed to keep us unconscious, right?
Ooh.
So our journey in life is about becoming more and more conscious of our union with Christ and who God is. And so I was born into a family. My parents were very active ministers, traveled the world. They traveled with some really T.L. Osborne, and went to nations, miracle signs, wonders, orphanages, just massive. That's what my parents did. And so I grew up in that scene. um I felt a little bit unconscious in it, or separated from it. I was an observer more than I was a participator in it. So it was basically when the shell began to first crack and I began to know God for myself, was out of absolute desperation. And I got to this place where I was going to find God or die, basically. And
Oh,
my story, my life story, I've got 7 children. Three of those were born with intellectual disabilities that would mean they would constantly be cared for, and still are all our lives. They're adults now. So in that place, I got really desperate. I was not wanting to do the story or live the life, and it was out of that I began to seek God. And it's like, very, very angry at the God I was wanting to seek too. Mind you, if I'd seen him, I would have popped him in the face. But but anyway, it's that metamorphosis that began to happen then. And from there, it was the evolving of my God consciousness, and learning more. That's when I became a revivalist, because basically I needed impact so that I could make my life worthwhile, and make the story, worthwhile. So so then I went through a pastor and leader and national minister and prophet and evangelist and all of that, until the burnout. And I have to say, in all of my ministry time, as I said before, my foundations were based on the law of sin and death, works, and toil. But the true awakening, I think, was during that burnout period, where that I actually encountered Jesus, and he invited me to become his Shulamite. So, starting off at the very beginning, and I began to, yeah, now I'm going to,
come on. I feel it too. Shut.
yeah, so
Whew.
that journey, the lover's journey, began then.
Mm.
It was hard. The deconstruction was really hard, because the old mindset would rise up in it and accuse me of not, of failing and letting God down, and people were going to suffer because I wasn't doing all this. but as I began to come out of that cocoon, the true metamorphosis, then I would, and that's when I accidentally listened to Justin Abraham, and I have no idea how he ever ended up on my phone, but he did. And at first it was like, what is this? What is this? Who is this guy? And then turn it off. Oh my gosh, is anybody gonna know?
Yeah.
And so I would listen again. I'd get so drunk, and it just resonated with my spirit. It was just pulling up my own scroll, and like I said, I began to see myself in who I really was. And so it was from there that I went to Wales the first time. I had to get out of Australia because too many people knew me. If they knew I was listening to Justin Abraham, I would be blacklisted. So I got out of Australia, the first time I went to Wales, and it was basically I'm going to find out if this stuff is real, if this guy is real, but I was terrified. The religion in me was terrified. And I had an encounter with an incredible, actually two Celtic monks, angels, cloud of witnesses, while I was over there. And and then came back, and I knew this was it. From there, I began a hub, gathering people together who were just people who had traveled with me, come on teams with me to overseas missions, and we didn't know what to do when we had a hub, because I knew what to do as a minister, but I didn't know what to do when I'd taken everything off. So we just sat there, and I didn't want to do anything according to the old style, the TP model church or anything like that. I just, I was almost too afraid to lead. So we just sat there in the presence of God, and we all began to learn how the round table gathering was all about, and we began to see what it was like to draw blueprints out of heaven through individuals all bringing their little portion. And I could see, wow, we are all just one part. And as everybody in the group would bring their portion, we would find this incredible blueprint had been brought in from heaven. And so it went from there to, I'm talking a lot, sorry.
It's okay.
No, we love it. Please do.
It's okay.
COVID. So COVID was the beginning. We had quite a big group. We had Justin over here a few times. We had Jane Schroeder. We had, Peter Condon. By the way, I live in a really small town, but the favor of God is in this place. And I know that we're hidden in our nation for a purpose, to impact Goliath with the stone,
Woohoo!
Anyway, it was then that we went online, and from there, Hub Without Borders was born. And seriously, I just can't even, I can't tell you how that happened, except that we just started getting online. Then more and more and more and more people were coming, and Justin would actually send people to us in Australia, and before we knew it, here we are. So don't ask me. I don't know how it happened.
And it happens in a blink of an eye, doesn't it? It's kind of, that's that, I don't know how it happened kind of perspective. It's just like, where did this come from? It just sprung up, just a full, just went.
Yeah.
A tree of life just went.
yeah, you got it. The tree of life.
Yeah, that's what it is. Tell me,
Yeah, and
I love the tree of life, and I know that you do.
yes,
You have, for a while, you're actually the very first one, because I'm switching the gears a little bit,
yeah, good.
that introduced me to Midjourney, doing some AI art because you were posting some stuff that you had started doing, and I was like, how'd you get into that? How do you do that? And you helped me get set up. You told me how to do this and how to do that. Tell me a little bit about your journey in Midjourney, and getting into the AI art stuff, because the Tree of Life is a major theme in a lot of the art that you do. So,
Yeah, all of that sort of all of that stuff intrigues me, and
mm,
I am creative, but um, I'm not good with technology. So you guys have just whizzed past me, and no, I want to come back and learn from you guys what you guys have done. For me, it was just basically just creating images or thumbnails for our gatherings, and posting invitations. So it was just simply that. But I was listening to Anka's her poetry.
Oh.
Oh, it was just like eating the sweetest morsel of
Mm.
delight. Just, I would just sit there and because I am a romantic, and it's that romance that you express. And so I was like, I love this. And so then, like like you said, we were chatting a bit after me being the second time in Wales, and I'm like, you guys, Anca, she will love this, to put it with her poetry. And then you contacted me after I had released the first meditation,
mm.
and you
Mm.
you said, "Hey, can I do something for you?" I was like, "Well, yes, please, please." I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that you'd contacted me, and I'd seen some of the stuff that you'd done, and you had offered. I was, just so delighted and grateful. Um, and then, yeah,
That was Breathe You In, right?
pardon?
That was Breathe You In.
The
Was that the
Yes,
first one?
meditation.
first
Oh.
meditation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was gorgeous. That was where I actually started to learn how to try to do animating of art, and
Art.
that was Bethany,
Yes, that's right.
Bethany's
Yeah.
art,
Yeah.
um, Tamsin, her
Yeah.
music,
Wow.
and her
Yeah.
incredible singing and voice, and you, of course, speaking the word and speaking over all of us as we bathe in that voice. So that was quite the experience.
Yeah. And then I wanted so I created them as twin sets. So they came in pairs. So there was the one with my voiceover, and then the soundtrack. And the soundtrack is just so incredible. And I know people want to extend their experience, once they've listened to somebody else's voice. They want someone else's voice out of the way so they can dive in really deep themselves. So, yeah, we've got two that are already produced, two sets of two twin sets. And we've got another one that's not too far off. And that one's called Union.
Mm.
Surprise, surprise.
God.
And that one's about to come. And we've done both of those, and our website. You've animated our website with the tree of life, and it just looks so beautiful.
Oh.
And we've done the children's the children's sleep time story.
Yeah, tell us
Ever
more.
everlasting land of wonder.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how did
And
you come up with that one? What were you thinking?
yeah, so I was thinking about children who need to get the true core message
Mm,
of the gospel, really about their identity,
mhm,
um, grounding their identity in who they were before they were born on earth. And for me, I feel like unless we actually capture that truth, then we're always still trying to be adopted. It's the adoption,
mm,
which is
mm.
Mhm.
westernized, to do with, well, God let me in now because, I accepted Jesus, in the our old way of teaching it.
Yeah.
Um, and I thought, that's the crux of why we actually feel the separationist mindset is that we believe that we've been accepted by Christ,
Mhm.
and that he hasn't, yeah, and that, if we're bad, well, we might not be, or if we're, you
Yeah.
know how it works anyway for
That
children in
that polarity mindset.
particularity. Exactly.
Which tipping of the scales am I on today?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And children grow up in that mindset. So I I began to just dream, how am I going to help children to recognize that they were in God before they were in their earth story, and they actually are the life in them is the essence of God. So they actually are an explosion of the heart of God in that moment of conception, and their spirit
Wow.
entered into and that their body was just a knitted form around about a
Mm,
spirit being. So I wanted them to know that they, in Ephesians chapter 1 is where it really, yeah, became obvious to me.
Hmm.
And and um and so I wanted to be able to teach that to children, so that their identity is rooted in God, the
mm,
acceptance and the essence of God within them since before they had their earth story. And recognizing that it was going to be um, a deeper implant of consciousness than teaching them so much. So, I realized that moment when they go to sleep, just before they go to sleep, nobody owns that. Basically they're laying there in their bed. Mum and dad have said goodnight, given them a kiss and read a story, but then they lay back in bed and they start to move into their alpha and their theta state, which is the state where we are, where we can be reprogrammed. So
mm.
it goes directly into their subconscious and aligns with their spirit that witnesses this is truth. So
Hmm.
the the child, and I practiced it all on my grandchildren. So one
Yeah.
one little fella in particular, incredible things that he says. The first thing, excuse me, got a croaky throat from the morning. The first thing that he said that was really wild was, when he was listening to it with his mum, was, Mummy, how does Nana know Yahweh? He just picked up on it,
Hmm.
excuse me, and began to remember. It was the remembering series. So he began to remember things, resonate with things. And
Hmm.
the other day, he said to me, yeah, that's right, he was talking to my about a photo of my parents, and he said, Nana, do you miss your parents? I said, yes. He said, are they in heaven? I said, yes, darling. And he said, But Nanny, you don't have to miss them, because all you have to do is go to heaven and you can talk to them anytime you want.
Wow. Whew.
And he's picked those things up from the story. Yeah.
So beautiful.
Just like that.
It's so beautiful. Especially
Yeah.
it's that time. It's that time where the our earthly experience and is developing in language, and our earthly experience is solidifying, really.
Yeah.
And to be able to have that as a structure to stand on, I
Yeah.
think that part of Christ is because he says I'm the rock, So to standing on him and standing on that firm structure,
Firm foundation.
that firm foundation. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's fun. We've got another one that is not too far. We're hoping to get it done before Tamsin has her baby, because everything will go on delay after she has her baby. But another children's sleep time story. I want it to be a remembering series, and it's called The Tree of Life.
Yeah.
So, yeah, speaking of the Tree of Life.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's going to be wonderful.
Yeah. With us in the Bay Life Designs, everything that we do is based on hearing and seeing. We hear what people are saying, or we hear what people say, and then we relay into visuals. How important do you think that is? This hearing and the seeing and the producing it.
The total package.
Yeah.
What you guys do is to bring everything into consciousness. So, the various modalities of learning, and we know about them, but seeing and hearing, but experiencing, because that's the one thing that separates religion from the mystic realms, is that religion's about learning doctrines and theologies and whatever, but it was never ever meant to be that way. It was meant to be encountered, experienced. And what you guys do, I always say that the scripture is a series of portals. That's what it was always meant to be, a place for us to enter in and experience and step through the veil. You guys, you rend the veil, you tear that veil of the five senses and move people into those experiential senses, which sincerely gives encounter. It's a big thing to me. Encountering experience coming to life is a big thing in my understanding, and something that I love to watch happening. So, the way you guys are just addressing all of those perceptions, those, intuitions.
Yeah, you're saying it. It's good. It's so good.
It truly is. We talk about ascension, but even ascension as a theology or a doctrine can become another striving effort, can't it? But we're learning more and more to open the womb of our imagination so that we can conceive the realities of our new creation.
We can conceive and become aware of where we already are, where we are seated.
Exactly.
I had this incredible
Yes,
I had this incredible encounter. We're both seers. I know that you are as well. I'm a big time feeler. I feel shifts and changes in the atmosphere, and I feel the presence of angels, and I feel it's almost like a knowing that comes upon me.
Yeah.
But I had this incredible encounter, like when I've seen in vision and dreams, very vivid, of course, I can describe in great detail, but still there's this knowledge within when I'm having visions that I'm still laying in my bed or sitting in
Yeah.
my. The other day is probably, well, not the other day, it was the other week. Um, I was encountering Jesus, and then in the snap, I went in this tunnel like the light of Jesus,
Wow.
and speeding down faster than the speed of light, this tunnel, and then this light just enveloped me, and I was completely transported into another realm, that where it was as real as you and me, but as real as you and me, but go further because, you know, I remember a long time ago listening to Chris Blackaby talk once, and he was talking about a plant or a fern, and he was looking at the fern. He's like, "What would this fern look like if it was glorified? A glorified fern, a fern that's restored into its fullness of what it's to be, in this glorified version. It would be in crazy." So when I was there, for this moment, everything was glorified. Everything. Jesus was there at the moment. There was many people. It happened um, so fast and so quickly. My body even responded. My body reacted to it, and in a sense, almost like a bungee cord or a rubber band snapping me back. It was this moment of fear my body had, and I went back to comfort my body. But the moment that I was transported with, it was about literally, it was like a second or two, okay, maybe a full second. Felt a little bit longer because of how much came forth and how much I experienced and how much I felt within that second. But when I came back to my body, my entire body was tingling like pins and needles and was reacting. It had reacted physically. It had reacted because it's not used to what had happened. It wasn't
Wow.
used to. It had a response. But
Wow.
and I had this crazy, weird fear that's in so much of this. Jesus said, "Let the dead bury the dead." Well, it's this lower frequency, fleshy kind of experience in a sense that is slowed down so much that it doesn't recognize that frequency. It doesn't recognize that realm. It doesn't recognize fully. Not, and I'm talking about like transfiguration type of fully. I don't believe yet we've really truly experienced that. We've had moments. But when I came back and then I was slightly fearful, but then I immediately captured that and said, "Jesus, I trust you because I saw him and I knew it was him." And I was speaking to my flesh and to my body. It's like, "Don't be scared. Don't be nervous. Allow it to happen." And then boom, it happened again.
Wow.
Another second I was there and the scene changed and there was people, and I noticed there was a lot of people there that all of a sudden kind of turned and just kind of looked at me like, "Well, hello." like like they were surprised by all of a sudden this moment. And then I sprung back again. My body was reacting again because it hasn't had this practice. And it happened one more time. And it happened one more time. It was 3 times in the same night. Now it hasn't happened again, but it was some profound experience. Experience.
Wow.
We were just talking about experiencing,
Yeah.
and
Wow.
of the presence of what we're capable of who we are, where we come from, and what's possible here, what's possible there, and the intertwining of heaven and earth, and how that all collaborates and works together. And you're starting and have been expressing that because every time I'm near you, even now when I'm talking to you on this video, I feel that land, that everlasting land of wonder. I feel it when I'm present with you. And that's in a sense where I felt that I was. It was this full encasement of the everlasting land of wonder that was beyond here because I wasn't even aware during that second. I was not even aware of my physical form anymore laying in my bed. like
Wow.
often when we're in vision. When we're in vision, we often still know I'm sitting or laying in my bed, aren't I? Right?
Absolutely. Yes.
That was fun.
Wow. Wow.
I tell you what, the more we engage with these truths and these testimonies and we speak the things that we experience and the operation of faith that's in us, and it awakens things inside of each one of us as we hear these stories from each other. And we can then springboard off of each other, and
Yeah.
it feels almost like a ladder to me, you know? It's almost
And
like a ladder going from rung to rung, and angels ascending and descending upon that ladder, and
I think that what you guys are doing is the key that unlocks exactly what you've just said.
Sure,
Oh,
Madasa, Bakish.
yeah, that's what I believe, because it takes everything past the one dimension, doesn't it? And
Yeah.
into the multi-dimension, people begin to experience the multi-dimensions and draw people in so that they're able to pass through those. That's what you guys are doing. It is the key to unlock those realms
Mm.
for people so that they can transfigure.
Oof.
And I know that Anka's has has so many wild experiences. I've heard about them on our little group that we had together, and I was just in awe of that. So together, like, the union of you two together, I mean, if ever there was a heavenly designed union, it's you guys.
Oh my gosh.
You
Well,
are
that's the
so
thing. It's all God. It's all been God. I met her 15 years ago in a dream. And then fast forward many years. I mean, this is not about us, and I'm not going to sit here and waste a bunch of time with our testimony, but God is all around and through what we're doing, and
fun.
He's around and through all of our relationships and our friendships. Um, this heavenly body that is forming in the kainos, and this is not just individuals. We get to experience it as individuals.
Yeah.
There's such a beauty in experiencing as the body and as a unit, and Jesus said, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father.
Wow. Yeah.
It also says the Holy Spirit descended as like a dove and rested upon him. So there's these moments where you see this individualistic nature of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, but the unity, the union of the Trinity and of the Spirit of God and us is so one. It is the great mystery.
I'm just as you're talking, as you're talking, and you mentioned, or you alluded to it just before, about how that when you're in my presence, you can feel the expansion of the everlasting land of wonder. And wow, oh my gosh, I just um you know how this is kind of probably going to be, a little bit base in what I'm about to say, but it's to express a greater thing. How that when, say, for instance, a woman has met multiple partners, right? And that science can actually find the DNA of all of those partners.
Yeah.
And it within that woman, like forever, which is the two becoming one factor, right? But what I'm seeing while you're talking is the insemination of everybody that you guys host
Yeah.
in the realm, becoming a part of the insemination of the development, the expansion of who you are. Like you now carry the DNA of the everlasting land of wonder, and all of the creative arts that you do with all of those people have now become a part of your overall consciousness, of the realms that you open. And you know, I'm just seeing as we're talking now, and I know that like you're just so generous in what you're doing, and even to the fact where you're not setting a price for what you do. And I was always like, no, you need to set a price. Come on. You know, that kind of a thing. It's like, oh, that lets me know where to aim for, kind of a thing. But you were like, no, the Father said no. But I can see now the trade that is happening in the spirit to you guys, in this massive multidimensional realm. As you're serving, you're partaking of that DNA from every person that you serve. Do you get what I'm saying? And it's
Yeah.
in a realm, like you guys are not just operating in a you know, in a loving space. You're actually creating awakening and opening a realm. And so when people come, you know, as you know, I'm just seeing that expanding to the place wherever you are, you know, the realm is open, and the realm is so much in union with every person who you've hosted and facilitated in this modality. I don't know what else to call it. That realm is just going to crack and break. And I feel like what you just spoke about, Stephen, just then, about your experience, like I haven't left my body. I've had experiences where I've traveled up, and then I've come back down. I've been swept up, but I've never gone to that degree. I'm hungry for it, but you know, there's something where that we need to get beyond hearing and get beyond teaching it, you know. And for people listening, they become almost hardened to the teaching because they're not experiencing it. But there are people who are gifted in the transportation of others, and I believe that you both are that. You know, this is just something that I'm hearing now, that because of what you do and because you're facilitating, you know, those modalities, there's this you know, this realm that is being created out of you, that people are going to be swept up into those encounters just by being in your presence, by being in the same room, because it's the keys. You're giving keys to humanity to be able to experience, so that people can go beyond their hunger, desire, wish, you know. I hear that. I wish, oh, why doesn't it, even in this thought, it's a separationist type of a thought, you know, God, why don't you do that to me? When it's actually all to do with us hosting the union of all of heaven and breaking out of that union to experience these things. But we have that mindset, don't we, as humans? You know, people so hunger and desire, and we need people like you guys, because it's not going to be knowledge. It's just going to be transfiguration. Yeah. Wow. I didn't know that just before I said it, but
Wow.
that's a wow. That is a wow.
As Godfrey says, but now, wow.
Yes.
We have discovered ourselves in Christ. But now, wow, we have discovered ourselves in Christ.
Talking for a while.
Oh, Rebekah, you're
Oh,
just
man.
yum, yum, yum. You're yummy. You're delicious. Just like,
Delicious.
yeah. Honestly, I can listen to your voice over and over. I am completely.
She gone. She gone. I tell you what, Rebekah, I love you, and we love you, and we honor you, and we could talk all day. I think it's the kind of people we are. We could talk and talk and talk and talk.
We honor you.
But we do try to keep these interviews to a certain length, but that's okay. Maybe we'd love to come back and maybe do another at some point. It doesn't have to be the end of these things, because there's so much wisdom that you carry.
Oh, it's so much wisdom.
So much excellence.
Yeah.
And just who you are and being you, not striving, not performing, not putting on the face, not putting on this or putting on that, but really just not even emptying the camel, but leaving the entire camel behind. Like just being bare and open and vulnerable and with no fear.
Yeah.
Just because you are amazing and you're wonderful.
Amazing.
And you know who you are. And still discovering who you are, right?
Oh yeah, ongoing conscious awakening for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
We love you, Rebekah. Thank you ever so much for your time and for your wisdom and for your presence and for your beauty and kindness and caress and love and just elegance. There's so much elegance around you and in you.
Hey.
I am so honored, and we appreciate your time, and we appreciate you and everything that you say and everything that you do. We see you. We hear you. We have you. As we tasted you. And we are with you always. Thank you so very much, Rebekah, for your time.
Thank you, Yeshua.
And we love you.
Thank you, Yeshua. Thank you. Love you. And we're gonna. Oh.
See you soon.
It's my privilege to be with you guys, and thank you so much for investing into us over here in this little town in Australia.
Oh, it's our absolute pleasure. We love you. See you soon.
Bye-bye.